Yes, and say hello. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Heidi. Yeah, we'll give folks a moment to virtually get settled in and drop your name if you'd like in the chat and anything that you're excited about this summer. If you have an event coming up, if you have a conference, if you're taking a trip, if you're unplugging, any of that would be great to know. So feel free to warm up your chat fingers. We love to hear from you throughout our quick 45 minutes. So appreciate you doing that. I'm going to bring greetings from the whole team in just a moment. Thank you. Thank you. So we know there's a poultry festival that starts the top of the list, I think.
Absolutely.
Well, that's got to be better than 4 straight days of rain here in New York.
Well, hello, our New York City friend. How are you?
Hi.
Great to see you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, lots of rain. We had that horrible flooding this week. So trying to recuperate there in West Virginia. Yeah. Hello, there's Miss Veronica. Hi, Veronica. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good to see you. Great. Hi, Tim. Can see Tim. How are you? Welcome. That's
Good.
wonderful.
Good to see you, Kathleen.
Yes. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. So again, yeah, we'll jump right in since we don't have a lot of time. Thank you, Heidi, for starting our recording. And thank you all for joining us at our second quarter consortium meeting for NOCTI Business Solutions. Good afternoon, Kathleen McNally, one of the team members, and I am joined by our sharp and spicy team here this afternoon. We have Ann Gelchek, our Executive Vice President. She's going to wave. Heidi Spees, who is she's our director of education and is currently at the Georgia conference. So we're excited about that. So she's like the woman on the street here this afternoon. And Randy, if you'll wave Randy, she's one of our project managers, program managers, and always a favorite. So thank you from the four of us for joining us. We have a couple spotlights this afternoon. We're very, very excited. I saw Dr. Childers and Dr. Lehrman, our esteemed Board of Trustees members. Thank you for joining us. I'm not sure if we have other folks on there. Maybe my colleagues can scan the group for me. So very, very excited to have you with us this afternoon. And so we're going to dive right in. I wanted to set just a little moment of tone around the idea of the integrity of career technical education. Most of you know that our friends at Advanced CTE recently published a statement knowing that our ecosystem is in a bit of disruption and knowing that each of you take that very seriously and each of us can leverage our shared knowledge and our leverage of our shared impact around what we do for career technical education to continue to speak very strongly about that. And I wanted to make the point that in our NOCTI nomenclature, that we are known for really standing strong and firm about the quality of CTE programming and training and education. And our lane and our role is to help not only determine that, but define that and move that through measuring what matters. So we are very committed to that, and we're committed to distinguishing career and technical education as such a powerful way that so many people learn and grow and move to a satisfying lifestyle. So I wanted to just thank you for taking a moment and embracing the integrity of CTE with us. So I'm super excited to invite. We think it's very important to always have voices from the field, and we have so many friends, you folks among us included, that we wanted to invite one of my favorites from New York City to bring greetings to our meeting today. And I'm going to pass it right over to Karen Koch.
And I have my own slide. Look at this.
Can you tell us from New York City?
Only in New York City. Good afternoon from a rainy New York. As it says, my name is Karen Koch. I was a CTE director, CTE teacher, work-based learning coordinator for 27 years. And I retired, and retirement lasted 3 days. And I proudly say I failed retirement, and I now work for what we call Central, the main DOE office. My role is to help programs get their paperwork in order for Perkins applications for the following year. So I work with schools that don't even know what Perkins is, versus schools that have taught me a thing or two about the approval process going on. Um, I've also worked. I also work with NOCTI in the respect of we're getting together an esthetician panel because there's a new exam that New York State wants their kids to have. New York City does not have it, an esthetician program in any New York City high school, an approved program anyway, but there are other schools in New York State that are seeking that. So that's how I spend my time, my retired time. Yeah, sitting
Thank
in
you, Karen.
meetings and helping schools and stuff like that. I love my job. I've got the best job ever.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and bringing your flair. When you meet people out there that, when she says fail at retirement, she means it because she just can't stop participating and bringing her chutzpah and her talent and her expertise. And she was a top-notch teacher. I got to see her in action. I'm very humbled by that. So thank you for joining us.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that so much. Yes, and thank you for bringing greetings from New York City. And so if you have a friend out there that you want us to have as our welcome for our September meeting, feel free to reach out. Our game plan for this afternoon, just wanted to share with you some highlights. We are from agriculture to Arkansas, folks. We have two powerful spotlights that we're going to share with you from our partners. We know that that's what really makes it hum is when you have those beautiful partnerships. We have a quick initiative update about our stance and our continued commitment and work for performance testing. Very excited about that field. We would like to invite you folks into a discussion about our continued exploration of sector development around the modernized career clusters. And finally, we are just going to shout out about where we are and want to hear where you are this summer. So very excited about that game plan. So I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Anne, to bring greetings and invite our first spotlight.
Thank you, Kathleen. I'm very excited to introduce to you all Jennifer Luce, who's the Vice President of Member Engagement for the North American Equipment Dealers Association. And Jen represents one of our newest partners that we are very excited about. So I'm going to turn it right over to Jen and have her talk to you about their program, what they do, their importance to CTE, and what we're doing together.
Thank you. Well, I've been in the association world now going up on 9 years, and working with our foundation and our Technicians for Tomorrow program that we're really trying to increase the visibility of opportunities in the equipment industry and really focus heavily on the service technician piece there, because that is the biggest area that we are looking to develop for our equipment dealers. We represent, as a nonprofit, we represent over 4,000 equipment dealers in North America, actually. So we don't do Mexico, but we do Canada. So US and Canada. We have partnered with NOCTI on developing various assessments and skill tests. And we're also going to be working with them on developing a NADA certification test for technicians. I think it's a great partnership for us, and for you guys to kind of help us develop that will be beneficial, because you guys kind of have already a structure for what you guys do for high school students. We also have been working specifically in Pennsylvania because we already have an apprenticeship program that's approved there. We're also working with a group of high schools there that are putting together a service technician program for several schools in a specific county, and they're going to try and mimic that across the state of Pennsylvania. So we're really excited about that. We're also working on trying to put together a national apprenticeship program so that we don't have to go to each individual state and try and create an apprenticeship program, because it's a lot of work. But we're looking into doing a national apprenticeship program. And then I think that, you know, what we can take from the Pennsylvania high school technical schools, which, you know, it depends on the state. There's some states that don't have as many of those high school technical type schools. But at least trying to mimic that nationally, at least in the US, you know, connecting those technical schools with some of that information to be able to create those programs. So I think that also those great lists from knowing who the actual teachers are in the high schools. We have some lists that we're connecting our dealers with so that they can connect with the high schools and do recruiting that way as well. So we're really churning really heavily on the workforce development piece. And I think that NOCTI is obviously one of those big pieces that's going to help, you know, drive us in the right direction and develop the tools that our members can use, but then also those that are outside of our membership as well. So we're really excited about the partnership.
Thank you so much. So I'll just add quickly that we are in the process right now of revising our standardized agricultural mechanic test for student use. It's in the piloting process right now, and NADA is going to be an endorsement partner. So Jen was very helpful in getting us some subject matter experts to sit on that panel. We really want all of our tests obviously to be driven by industry. So it was great to have some of their members on the panel for that job and task analysis, and then also developing the test. So that you'll see that endorsement from them on our ag mechanic test very soon. Does anyone have any questions for Jen before we move on to our next?
Question, and
Yeah.
really excited to hear from you today, Jennifer. Is when you think about the states, and I may have missed this, is there a region or a state that is states that are a particular focus area? I think the natural inclination is to think Midwest, but I want to debug my own mindset in case I'm missing some other areas.
I mean, that's where the central, you know, centralized mass of the dealerships are. And in kind of, you know, the South, it just depends on, you know, the area. But I think that it would be that there's less dealership locations or there's less dealer ownership groups in specific areas. Let's say, for example, like the Pacific Northwest. In some of the, you know, Colorado, Wyoming, you know, Nevada areas, those, you know, they're just less dealerships and less dealership ownership. So, and there's more of a concentration of them in the Midwest. So, yeah.
Perfect.
And
Thank you.
usually those that are looking for, let's say, technician jobs are not wanting to go like super far from home, you know, especially if they're looking to go to school or anything like that. You know, they're looking for something within, you know, probably a 50-mile radius. But, you know, there's some that, you know, may be willing to move. But when it comes to initial schooling and getting, whether it's apprenticeship, whether it's tech school, those sorts of things, typically they live at home, go to tech school, those sorts of things. So that's why it's harder sometimes to, you know, get those that are more in the rural areas, but there's also large dealerships in metro areas as well. So.
Thank you. Any other questions? Well, thank you so much, Jen. We really appreciate you taking the time to tell us a little bit about your program today.
We do. I will echo that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anne and Jen. Just fascinating. And thank you for what you do, right? If you think about one of the cornerstones of, you know, what agriculture and equipment dealers, like you can't function in the fields without the mechanics piece. So I can attest to that. And I'll tell you, I had a chance to drop in and just kind of be a fly on the wall with the ag mechanics subject matter experts. And it was a fascinating conversation. Yeah, it kind of rivals the spice of the poultry group. So I'm sure it was great. Really, really interesting. So thank you. And we're so excited about the endorsement and the work we're doing together with you. So Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you, Michael, for the question. Just real quick, Michael Carbini joined us. I think Brian Albrecht might be on there, Dr. Albrecht. Michael is one of our newest Board of Trustees members. We're super excited about that, bringing the love of AR and VR to us and challenging us every single day. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, and so I wanted to set the tone quickly, and then I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Heidi from Georgia. Like she's in Georgia at the moment, from on the road as a road warrior to share with us an update. I wanted to give you a moment just to take a look at that on the screen. I think it's super, super important. Yeah, spot on, right? So if you think about as we're preparing, all of us have a key role in workforce development, uh, developing technical talent across our country and across the globe. And as we prepare folks for the work they're doing, the complexity is always increasing. We're always looking at more to juggle, more to think, the need for critical thinking. And so our assessment methods, that's the lane we're in, and that is what we truly believe is important to the equation of workforce development, is measuring what matters, is that we have to evolve. And we have made such a firm commitment around the idea of the power of performance. The performance testing world is not easy. It is complicated. It is not easy to execute. And we are excited when our state partners, our school leaders make a commitment to participating in that. The importance of assessments are not only to hire the right technicians or to validate prior learning, all of that, measuring program outcomes, it plays a role in all of that. And I just wanted to set the stage for the fact is that it also has a really deep impact on the learner themselves. The person learning and testing through performance benefits in spades. So I wanted to share that with you and set that tone and invite Heidi to give us an update on our footprint in performance testing. Thank you, Heidi.
Thanks, Kathleen. Greetings from Georgia. It's a little warm here, but it's nice, and it's great to be with the CTE educators here. So we really enjoy providing our consortium members with some updates on our initiatives during our meetings, and we have a few updates for you this time. First of all, we were really excited to spearhead a really successful beta test of asynchronous performance testing this past spring. We had heard from the field that it would be really beneficial for programs to be able to administer applicable test titles in an asynchronous format. So we tried our beta with the accounting basic test, and students completed their performance jobs under the supervision of a proctor, and then their work was assessed by an expert evaluator at a later point in time. So this allowed the evaluators to rate student jobs when it best fit their schedule without them having to be on campus during test administration or really at any point. And if you think about that, particularly with accountants and also at the time of the year in the school year when students are testing, it was really successful from their point of view. So we were really excited about that and really thankful for all of the schools that helped us with that beta test. And due to the success of that beta test, we're planning to roll asynchronous testing out as an option in the upcoming school year for any school to participate in. And we're continuing exploration of other titles that might be a good fit for that format. So this is something new for us that we're very excited about and looking forward to see where this might lead us going forward. And then continuing with the performance testing conversations and updates, we've mentioned before that we had convened a national performance task force just to help us hone in on what would be useful for the field and whose members really provided some really invaluable insight for us. Internally, we have a team of NOCTI talents that are investigating what it means to go digital with regard to performance testing. And so we're exploring electronic performance rating entry, test material access, and several other initiatives that we hope will really help enhance efficiency and security. And so that team is geared up and ready to really dive in and figure out how we can make our performance testing more efficient, more accessible, and to be a really good fit for all of the programs across the states that we work with. And continuing with performance testing, we have a lot going on in that area, as you can tell. We made some changes to the performance testing page on our website at nocti.org. We really made some enhancements to that page, and not only have we expanded the information, but we've added 2 new videos aimed at evaluator recruitment. We mentioned that in between the meetings communication that you received a while back. We're going to drop a link in the chat to that page so that you can take a look at those videos. We're excited about them. We pushed them out to some of our schools that we work with, and they're very excited to have that as a resource for recruiting performance evaluators. And moving on, we wanted to also announce that we have our 25-26 test revision schedule underway, and we're planning to start with titles in accounting, administrative assisting, culinary arts cook, which is our collaboration with the American Culinary Federation, early childhood education, forest products and processing, and HVAC. And so we're going to be seeking subject matter experts for those test revision groups. If you or your colleagues know of anyone who is interested in sitting on those teams, we have an application and information on our website. And again, we're dropping that link in the chat so that you can see what's available and pass that along so that we can have a really great group of SMEs participating in those projects. And then finally, we can't forget NOCTI Business Solutions. So Anne, if you'd like to share some of the exciting projects that NBS is involved in, that would be great.
I would. I'm going to start with AmTech. For those of you unfamiliar with AmTech, they're an organization consortium out of Kentucky that does mechatronics testing. They just received an NSF grant to do a certification for additive manufacturing in 3D printing. So we're going to start that development probably in August. So we're looking forward to that. We're really excited. Very, very soon, we are finishing up the recognition pieces, so the badges and certificates for a new machining certification. This is in conjunction with Blue Ridge Community College, and these assessments are endorsed by FANUC. So there are 3 certifications. There's a written knowledge-based multiple choice test that's a basic machinist certification, and then there are 2 performance tests that go along with that, and each carry their own certification. One is for manual milling and one is for manual turning. So the subject matter experts from industry decided that it was important to split those 2 up into 2 separate performance tests so that if they have programs that only get to the milling, the students can still get their milling certification, and then it may take them a little bit longer to get that turning certification. So by the fall, those will be out and ready to be ordered. Those can be used by any programs. So if you have a machining program that you would like to utilize those certifications, those will be available for use to any of your schools through the standard student testing on NOCTI's regular client services center. So you do not have to have any sort of special equipment, no FANUC CNCs. It is a manual machining certification that any program can use across the country. We're also going to be starting development shortly with Legacy EV on an electric vehicle certification, and this will also be to be utilized at the secondary level. And then we also just started, which we are really excited about, a new certification with the SEMI Foundation in the semiconductor industry. So this is pretty exciting. I think this is going to be the first of its kind, a certification for the semiconductor industry. They are really letting industry drive what is needed. And so we currently are in the content validation study phase of the process for the equipment technician certification. And then the foundation really does believe that this will lead to some additional tests for specialty areas. But as I mentioned, they're really letting industry drive what's needed. So we'll see what's next. But we are in the development process for that equipment technician certification. So we're hoping to have that one out by testing season next year as well. Does anyone have any questions about any of those? All right. Back to you, Heidi.
Thanks, Anne. I know that was only a snapshot of the many projects that are going on at NBS. We see a list all the time, and there's just so much going on the industry side of our company. So it's exciting to share. So now we have the pleasure of introducing our second partnership spotlight, and we really want to say thank you to Megan Bolander, who is the Executive Director of the Trails Trade School and Construction Technology at Northwest Arkansas Community College, for joining us and sharing. She's going to talk about the story of blazing your own path with the exciting trail technician program that was developed at the college. We were really proud to be selected as the delivery and development partner for the Trail Technician Level 1 certification. And Megan has just been a fantastic partner. I've learned so much about the trails industry and planning a trip to Bentonville, and can't wait to go see what those trails look like in her area. So Megan, I'll turn it over to you, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Heidi, and thank you to NOCTI for having been such a great partner over the last 2 years. And thanks to Michael Carbini for planting the seed and saying, hey, I think that this thing you're working on would really benefit from an accreditation exam. And so I appreciate him being on the call and being a supporter. And we are a Z-Space school. We have some Z-Space VR in our welding and in our small engine repair classes. And so it's just really lovely to see things come full circle, especially among friends who celebrate innovation and who are willing to take the next step to see what career and technical education looks like for an advanced workforce and for workforce development and economic development in particular in new areas. And so I've been at the college. Northwest Arkansas Community College is the largest community college in the state of Arkansas. I've been at the college since 2010. I've had the privilege of being a faculty member, of being the Dean of Communication and Arts, of being the Dean of Workforce, and now doing what I do. And I can say that we have the coolest division at the college. We're right in the middle of campus, and we have the construction technology program. We have our traditional trades, HVAC, electrical, and plumbing. But then we have these two innovative new programs, which are very specific to Arkansas and to the region in its initiatives to really explore outdoor recreation economic development. But as we've had the privilege of receiving grant funding to sort of transform outdoor recreation education and also Bentonville's global impact, we've had the privilege of learning all of the industry partners across the country who are also making innovations in this space. And so it's been, it started with, the journey started with our starting a bicycle technician program in 2021. And we're now in our 4th year of that program. And then we were given the opportunity to then stand up a trail technician program. And as I said, we found these industry partners across the country: Professional Trail Builders Association, American Trails, the U.S. Forest Service, National Park Service, Federal Highway Administration. And we've been meeting with these incredible partners for 1.5 years now to create what are called the Trail Skills Framework or Trail Skills Competencies. And if you go to trailskills.org, you'll see that framework, you'll see those competencies. It's exactly what we built our curriculum and our program from. And so it only made sense then that we had an accreditation assessment that helped standardize the profession with those competencies, and we did it through NOCTI. So we've had the privilege of bringing people to Arkansas on multiple occasions to sit in a room for days and brainstorm what the questions needed to be, and for this new emerging industry of trail building and maintenance and outdoor recreation, what really needs to be the entry level that demonstrates proficiency, that an employer could look at and say, okay, I understand the mastery and competency that this professional has. And so we're in our 1st year of that program. We already had 8 graduates from our trail technician program. It was really special to see them walk across the stage. It's exciting, but also unusual in community college programming that in the very 1st year of a program, you actually have graduates to matriculate. But it was very important to us to create delivery methods and also stackable credentials that would allow students who are working, that would allow students who are not local to also benefit from the programming and from the education. So I'm proud to say that in the fall of 2024, we had students from the Forest Service in every single region in the country. And we had 5 of those Forest Service students actually complete an entire credential. And then this last semester, 2 of our graduates were local. And so we're just getting started. We're very fortunate to have, as I said, received grant funding from a Walton Family Grant for both the bicycle technician and the trail technician program, and exceptionally fortunate to have just found so many industry partners and friends who want to see outdoor recreation thrive and who believe in innovative and new ways to teach career and technical education.
Thanks so much, Megan. And I have to say, Kathleen and our colleague Mandy were recently in West Virginia at a conference, and your program and the certification came up, and I think you may be getting some inquiries from West Virginia. They were very intrigued. Trails are getting big in their state too, outdoor recreation, and so you may make more friends. So thanks so much for sharing. Kathleen, I think you're going to move us on to our membership spotlight, and I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to give the our group here a moment if there's anyone that had particular questions or thoughts for Megan about their trails effort. I love that concept, right? Outdoor recreation, economic development as like a energy source for economic development. It's fascinating, Megan. Thank you so much. So much.
You're welcome.
Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Thank you. Yes. And thank you, Heidi. Yes. So we would like to, with our final few minutes together, we'd like to invite you folks to help us pinpoint. We would love to take a quick visual, almost a survey type thing by using our virtual Zoom tools here this afternoon. I'd love to set the stage. So we're very curious and always pressing the boundaries in terms of sector development, like opportunities. We understand that there are different sectors that live in different areas and regions of our country. And so we would like to get a sense of this and get a pulse on this from you folks, our CTE leadership. Our board met recently in Detroit at FANUC America, and they are always challenging us to continue to keep our finger on the pulse in terms of sectors. So what I'd like to do is that we've had some data work done, and we've landed on some sectors, and we're very curious about your involvement in those sectors. So if folks could, if you can play, meaning if you are at a device where you can use your annotate feature, we'd like to take a moment, and I'm going to show you a grid, and in the grid in each square is a sector. And so using your annotate feature and finding that on your screen, it typically has a kind of a pencil icon there. And in that, there'll be an option for a stamp, which might be a check mark or a star or something like that. And that's a way you can help communicate to us weighing in on the options. So let me set you up here. Here's our grid. And we're very curious about these, and if these are supported, these sectors, these particular career opportunities are supported in your state through your state system with programming and training. Do you have these? Are they living and breathing? Are they moving? Are they grooving? So take a moment and find your annotate feature. Mine happens to be on my toolbar. It's a pencil. If you click on that and open it up, it'll give you a stamp option. And then you can stamp, you can go wherever to each grid. If you have all of these, or let's say you're really big in supply chain, you want to mark that. Take a moment and mark for us where you have presence. If you don't have access to an annotate feature, feel free to use the chat, and I'll ask my colleagues to keep an eye on that. Thank you, Tim, for starting us off. There he is in game design. Go, Tim. I love it. All right, take a moment and mark where you have action going on. And let us know if you want encouragement to find the tool. It should be under annotate, and then there's a picture of a stamp, usually a check mark Yeah. Thank you. I see patience. Thank you, Megan, for playing. Excellent. Mhm.
Do you want us to mark only the existing programs we have? Because like we
Or-
have a behavioral health, we're developing one for the 26-27 school year. So
Oh, great question, Tim, and great to hear that. If you would mark the current, what you
okay,
currently have offering, and then the next question is about where you're heading. So if
gotcha.
you'll save that thought, and we'll get that down for the next question. Appreciate that. That's exciting. Good stuff for the next year. Yeah. Oh, and okay, so correctional services. Boy, it's sort of all over. Yeah. A couple checks for marketing, supply chain. Yeah. Any thoughts or comments as you're weighing in?
Kathleen, how do we know who has put the check in the box? I don't want to duplicate anything that Tim has already checked. Do we
Oh,
know?
well, I can see it when it's on there. Yes, I see when people put that on there. But go ahead from your perspective. Feel free to double check. That's fine.
Yes, Tim, are we doing anything in warehousing and logistics with Amazon, especially with their expansion?
We have some logistics courses, but we do not have like a partnership with Amazon. But that would definitely be a good,
Next, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity.
especially with the career practicum, if we could get like some internship set up or something.
Yes. 2 weeks ago, I guess it's been 2 weeks now, the board, the NBS board and the NOCTI board were privileged to be in Richland Hills, Michigan, at the FANUC manufacturing robotics plant.
Mm,
And it was really exciting to hear the employees that were there that started in logistics, in their warehousing and logistics area as an entry level job, but are now working in, one of them in particular, working in their design lab. So has worked his way all the way up, has obviously an incredible amount of creative skills and technical skills, but started, and what got him in the door was the opportunity for him to take that entry level job in warehousing and logistics.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be glad to help you with that if there's an opportunity there to expand on that career path.
great. Thank you.
And obviously in Northwest Arkansas, there's plenty of opportunity in warehousing and logistics.
Yes. Thank you for sharing, Charisse. I appreciate that and sort of connecting with your colleagues there. So, and appreciate just a quick footprint of where you folks are currently working and those sectors that have a lot of energy across the country. So I'm going to ask, we're going to ask just one other question of you, which is looking future forward, and I'm going to turn it over to Randy to do that. And while I do that, I'm going to clear our screen. Yep,
Thank
there
you,
we go.
Kathleen.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. We'll go ahead and just use the chat feature when I ask my question. If you want to answer, throw your responses in there. We're looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Like Kathleen said, we're going to look into the future. So over the next 1 to 3 years, how will your state approach the development of new CTE programs, or let's say the expansion of existing ones, basically to ensure students are prepared for careers in emerging technology sectors?
Love to see that.
Yeah, take a moment to think on it, and then we'll capture all of your responses in that chat feature. Thank you, Tim.
Got New Mexico, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Arkansas.
Also, I think it would be appropriate if it's easier to kind of just talk about it. Feel free to unmute yourself and kind of have a little bit of conversation to share your feedback as well, if that's easier than typing it up.
We can mention a couple of things from the chat, Randy. Dr. Faulkner mentioned that they're looking closely at the labor market demands for each island. Currently, they're working on building a technical college in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and this will be a major focal point for the territory. So that's exciting.
Very exciting.
Pennsylvania is currently engaging in constituent sessions with recommendations going to the Secretary of Ed early this fall. Arkansas increased use of data and analytics through their launch platform and increasing the use of career awareness tools and techniques.
Nice.
West Virginia is working through a program alignment to the new clusters right now, which I think is probably the case in a lot of states. Oregon is not an early adopter state, though they are planning to start work groups to gather feedback from partners. New Mexico is an early adopter state and participating in meetings with advanced CTE and other early adopters. They're working in phases, organizing, program alignment, validation of programs with other partners, and post-secondary industry and workforce agencies.
That's all really
Thank you.
great. Yeah,
Exciting things from different states.
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you for sharing. I am going to kind of continue on with that futuristic approach, but if you do come up with any other ideas you want to enter into that chat, please feel free to do so. As we're kind of building on that forward-looking perspective, I wanted to share how we're always excited to be out and about and being able to connect with educators and industry leaders to be able to share our work. We like to stay at the forefront of innovation and best practices. So we're participating in quite a few conferences coming up. We've already done a few, which I think have been mentioned, West Virginia and Georgia. I'll elaborate a little bit more on those, but we really enjoy these conferences as a unique platform for learning, networking, and being able to showcase our initiatives. During the first week of June, Dr. McNally and Mandy McCall represented NOCTI at the West Virginia ACTE conference, as I think Heidi had mentioned earlier. This is actually where Dr. McNally also delivered the keynote address, which was exciting. And then currently this week, you're aware that Heidi is in Georgia. She's also there with Mandy McCall. They're attending the Georgia ACTE Summer Conference. And they're really kind of enjoying being able to engage with CTE leaders and educators. We're getting a lot of really good feedback, which is exciting as well. Next week, several members of our team will be participating in the Skills USA NLSC, the National Skills and Leadership Conference. We're actually participating as a gold level partner. In addition to being the new delivery partner for state competition testing and continuing our NCLA support, providing tests for several competitions, we're also excited to offer a no-cost certification opportunity for our Principles of Work-Based Learning Level 1 certification. We even designed a pin to honor our excitement, and we can't wait to be able to share them with the students at Skills. In early July, Dr. McNally will attend the North Carolina CTE Summer Conference, where we're excited to exhibit for the first time and engage in meetings with culinary instructors. There are several other conferences that we plan to attend this summer, including Nevada ACTE, the CTAT in Texas, PACTA's annual Summer Leadership Conference, Wisconsin Career Readiness Summit, Rhode Island ACTE, National College Testing Association, and the Correctional Education Association conference as NOCTI continues to receive inquiries from correctional education agencies. So as I've repeated several times, a lot of exciting things that are happening in conferences that we'll be participating in.
Thank you so much, Randy. And we'd love to hear where you're going to be. Feel free to drop in the chat. So we hope that our paths cross, and we really appreciate you being such an important part of our valued network. And feel free to give us feedback on the consortium design, the meeting design. We think it's really value added to hear from our partners, and we appreciate, thank you, Jennifer, thank you, Megan, for joining us. Thank you to our Board of Trustees members. Thank you, Karen Koch, for kicking us off from New York City. We appreciate you, all of you, for contributing to knowing kind of, the life of our network, our ecosystem, what's going on out there. We appreciate it. Our next consortium meeting will be September 16th at the same time, 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, for about 45 minutes again. And we welcome thoughts. We are going to take a deep dive. We have been into the Advanced CTE Credentials report. We feel that we are seated right there at the center of that work. We think it's very important that that conversation happen and that we involve people to understand deeply what quality certification processes and outcomes mean, what they mean to us and what they mean to you in your workforce talent development efforts. So, any thoughts for the good of the order? We want to thank you so much and wish you a good afternoon. Feel free to open up your mic. Appreciate seeing all of you today.
Thank you, Kathleen, and everybody. Have a great summer until we see you again.
Thank you, Patience.
I can't get my video to come on, so sorry about that.
Well, we're sorry not to see beautiful you, and you too have a good summer and safe travels to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim and Charisse. Yes, for bringing
Bye-bye.
the love of Arkansas. Be
you.
well. Uh-huh.
Well, thank you for always thinking of me. I enjoy sitting in and learning what other states are doing.
We appreciate you. You know that. You know that,
Ye-
K2.
Yeah, even though they all make fun of my accent, but it's all good. It's all good.
Well, the Michigan team, we get a little bit of that as well. So we just wanted to share the love. Appreciate you. Looking forward to like roping in the esthetician opportunity
Yeah.
too. Getting that plane landed and seeing where it goes. Would love to pull that off. So we'll be with you if that's okay. We're just going to keep.
I told you I got a school in Staten Island that wants to be the first one to offer that program in New York City.
I love it. I love your recruitment efforts.
I didn't even have to say anything. They were like, "Yes, that's us." I was like, "Okay." So, all right, be well, ladies. Talk soon.
You too. Happy
Thank
early
you.
summer. We'll be in touch.
You got it.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye. Oh. There she
Hi,
goes.
thank you for recording. Do we want to stop the recording? Yeah, let me see here.
Yep.
Can I do? Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone.
I don't think the recording stopped yet.
Oh, hang on.